Welcome, everybody, to the Broken Ring Racing League, the GT3 Sprint Championship, Season 9, Round 1, here at Watkins, Glen. I'm the main commentator here, Jason Alvarez. Nobody's in the booth with me, but don't let that fret. We got some good racing coming up for you. We're just at the end of practice, and the session is going to start a little bit early. We got about 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes to go before qualifying starts. 10 minutes earlier than normal. Same with the race. But while that's going on, we got some new contenders here in the league. Dave Palmer, one of them, who's just spun it in, I think, turn 1. Alan Paris of Paxoceany. Paxoceany. I want to say it's Paxoceany. Paxoceany Beta. I don't think I'm saying that right, but Paxoceany has 2 teams, Paxoceany Beta and Paxoceany Alpha. I'm going to really get tired of saying that one, I presume, if I'm not saying it correctly. But Alan Paris is going to be joined by Alex Othen. Hope that's right, too. They are the Beta team. And the Alpha team is going to be Christopher Daniel here. And John Javecki, who's sitting in the pit lane. So 2 teams for the Paxoceany team. Alpha and Beta. And Christopher Daniel isn't new to the series. He's actually been in the series for quite some time. But he's got 2 teams formed right now. All 3 drivers, I believe, are new. I haven't seen any of their names before. Looking down the list, we have a lot of the same names. I got somebody here, the name of Jeff Lubbock, who I think is brand new. I've never seen this name before in a race. Well, I mean, one that I've commentated on. Chad Peterson, who's in 4th position during practice. I believe he's new as well. Just giving you a good heads up of what's happening out there. And, well, these guys are all not in. Based on the results in practice, we have Trey Mistak in P1, Peter Flander P2. Still got a couple minutes left before practice ends and qualifying starts. About 3 minutes, almost 2. Tyler Anderson in P3, Chad Peterson in 4, Austin McGill in 5, Christopher Daniel in 6, Elliot Burton in 7, Jeff Koffold in 8, Alan Paris in 9, and his teammate Alex Othen in 10. Down the list it goes, we have Ryan Avila, John Javecki, and so forth. 3 drivers have not set a time. Chris Chitterling, Kyle Howe, and Andrew Cody in practice. Ooh, there's another new addition. Dave Palmer, we've already stated, but Ken Poulin, who's in the pits. Also, I think pretty fresh to the series. But in that addition there, we have Jeff Lubbock, who I believe is new. He is supported with Mark Foley. Let's see if Mark Foley's even in. Yeah, Mark Foley's in here. Looks like they're sporting the Marlboro livery. And they are the Curb Crawlers Racing. And Mark Foley, not a new addition to the league, but his comment in regards to the team that he made is gonna give this GT thing a go. I don't know what he means by the GT thing a go. As in, maybe his team is just gonna go fresh into GT3 racing, not having a lot of maybe experience in it with Jeff. I'm not sure if Jeff has a lot of experience in this car or in a GT3. I mean, he's got a good I rating so far, and don't really base that on in the league here, but I hope the best for them. These 2, one's in an Audi, and the other one is in a Ferrari, which is fine. People could do that. got a lot of Ford Stangs out there on track. I believe like half the grid might be saying Ford, 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 or Chevy. The Chevrolet Corvette Z06 that's also there, and well, that person's not there. Okay, we got Chris Lambeth out there, and qualifying is about to start. That is the switchover, folks. Chris Lambeth, who is joined by Jacob Simmons in the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. That's a mouthful for you, folks. They are the team to look at. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Jeff Koffold is presumably the second person to go out there, as we have Trey Mistack out first in the Corvette. Very interesting to see what happens for Trey. He's a definitely one of the higher end pro drivers that we have in the league. And I'm not even sure if he's on, I mean, I think he's on a team, but I just don't have that on my board. No team shake stack out of these two. Matt Shack also out, not on the grid just yet, but one of his former teammates. Looks like Jeff is getting extra close there. And while Jeff Koffold is in a Valhalla Racing livery, he's actually sporting the Blue Flags Racing team with Asa McGill. And that team, as Jeff has stated, that he can shout blue flags all race long and say, I'm just saying my team name. So if we had that enabled and we heard some blue flags, you wouldn't be confused, as there is a Blue Flags Racing team out there on track. And we're going to go on board with Trey Mistack as he takes the approach up into the S's, onto the back straight, through the bus stop. We'll see how this goes for him. Really good and attacking the curbs. I noticed some people were saying that some of the cars having some difficulty on the curbs, but it doesn't look like Trey's having that issue in his car. So he goes through chute. And sets up nicely into tow. Through the boot section, I would say, is where you can really gain some ground, and some of those GT3s that really favor the cornering versus straight line speed. And only 2 more corners to go onto the penultimate corner, onto the start straight finish. Is he keeping this even keel? We'll see. And Trey's going to go fastest initially. See if he goes across the line into P1. Jeff Koffold into P2. I think I'd go with Peter Flanner here, who's crossed the line into P1 actually. So the shakeup's already happening. And that is P1 for Peter Flanner right now. Trey Mistack in P2. Elliot Burton in P3. So that's a 1-3 finish for Draft Punk Racing of Elliot Burton and Peter Flanner. Jacob Simmons goes across the line, go to P5. Jeff Koffold down to is in P4. Alex Offen into P6. Tyler Anderson in 7. Andrew Korsecki in 8. Dylan Maroney in 9. Craig Carroll in 10. Thomas Baker in 11. Goes to actually to P12 with Charles Whedon to 11. Eric Rodriguez Down in 14th, Chad Peterson in 15, Kyle Howe in 16. Mark Foley crosses the line to go into P9. Christopher Daniel of Pax Oceany Alpha crossing the line into P5. Noah Hodgkinson into P11. And I believe someone else popped in there. Andrew Cody into P17. We'll go back on board with Trey Mistak and see if he can't squeeze out some time to overtake Peter Flanner. The difference in the gap is less than a hundredth. Trey Mistak did a 144.244. Peter Flanner in P1 did a 144.181. Elliot Burton and Trey Mistak looking better on this lap. Is this enough to go P1? It's not, but Jeff Koffel does. Goes to P1 with a 144.110. He's just nearly less than a tenth away from Peter Flanner's time. Ahead of him, though. And now we're just going to have to look and see who else is going to be able to contend. Elliot Burton, one of the drivers in the top 5 that has the possibility, as the pace difference is shifting for some of these drivers right now. Jacob Simmons goes to P5, overtaking Christopher Daniel there. Austin McGill to P7. And Chris Lambeth in P13. Alan Paris in 14th. Dylan Maroney in 15. Chad Peterson across the line. This driver, wow, in an all-American flag livery for the Chevrolet Corvette. In P4 right now for him. And he's a newcomer. Reminder, Jeff in a Porsche 911 is P1 with the drivers behind him in Corvettes. P2 to P5, all in Corvettes. Then it's followed by the Ford Mustang. GT3 of Jacob Simmons, Christopher Daniel, Austin McGill. Then one more Porsche in the top 10. And then Ford Mustang again to round out the actual top 10 in P10. So a lot of stuff can still happen here. We have Thomas Baker in P21, Eric Koonsman in 19, John Javecki in 16, Tyler Kern in 25, Kyle Howe in 26, Bryce Bombeck 27, Jeff Lubbock in 28, Dee McAllister in 29. We have several drivers that have not set a time on the board. Chris Chitterling is one of them. Chris Chitterling definitely is one of the drivers that's going to get there in the top 10 if he just puts out some good pace laps here. Only a few minutes left in practice. Dylan Maroney goes faster again, goes to P15. We have just under 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. He can still pull out, he's on and on out lap, so he's got one more good lap in. Possibly, yeah, I'm just going to say one more. Let's see what he does there. Oh, he parks it. That's his round. He goes to P14 with that one and calls it good. Peter Flanner has not responded to Jeff Koffel's fastest time. Trey Mistak as well in P3. Chad Peterson in P4. Elliot Burton in P5. None of these drivers have made a response lap to what Jeff has done provisionally on pole. Might keep it there if we don't see the pace come back to some of these drivers. So we have 6 drivers that still have not set a time on the board, and it doesn't look like they're going to. Don't see any of them actually on track at all. That's unfortunate. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're just gonna take it as is. And still looking at Peter Flanner here. Maybe he's building a gap. He's a little bit slower on this lap. He's got the time to go again, I believe. Yeah, he's going to go again. Andrew Korostecki crossing the line to take P8 with a 144.381. A lot of these drivers are in the 144s right now, so it is a very tight grouping of drivers from P1 down to P14. They're all in the 144s, with Noah Hodgkinson going to P14 with his last lap. Now, this could be the flyer that Peter Flanner's looking for. He's 2/10 quicker already into Sector 1. He's got to keep it together in Sector 2, but this 2/10, even 1/10, can mean pole or no pole for him. Starting at the front of the grid, though, he's still, on the front row, is still a good consolation prize here, as I think there's somebody crashed into a barrier there, because definitely hurt something. And I'm going to reserve judgment on this lap. It looks like he's up a whole half second. And if that is the case, he's going to take P1. Hopefully he's still within track limits at all the corners thus far. And we'll see. Yeah. Really? Ooh. That might... I know you can exit or get off a little offline there and it's still fine, but we'll see. It's a... Can Peter Flanner respond and take P1 right now, or is this going to be an invalid lap? No, it's an invalid lap. He goes with a 144.077, just 0.033 faster than Jeff Koffel, who goes to P2, drops to P2. Jacob Simmons goes across the line to take P3. With a few drivers left to go, we have Noah Hodgkinson and Chris Schitterling. They're 14 and 15 as they cross the line. Are they going to be able to go a little faster? Their times improved, with Noah ahead of Chris Schitterling into P12. Oh, no, into P13, Noah Hodgkinson in 12. Resolve that. And the results are in. We have Peter Flanner P1, Jeff Koffel P2, Jacob Simmons P3, Trey Mistak P4, Chad Peterson in P5, Elliot Burton in 6, Tyler Anderson in 7, Austin McGill in 8, Christopher Daniel in 9, Andrew Horsecki in 10, Alex Othen in 11, Noah Hodgkins in 12, Chris Schierling 13, Mark Foley 14, Chris Lambert is 15, Charles Reed in 16, Dylan Maroney 17, Alan Paris in 18, John Javecki in 19, Craig Carroll in 20, Eric Koonsman in 21, Eric Rodriguez in 22, Thomas Baker in 23, Andrew Cody in 24, Richard Sedvra in 25, Kyle Howe in 26, Tyler Kern in 27, Bryce Baumbeck 28, Steve McAllister in 29, Jeff Lubbock in 30, Patrick Gannon in 31, Matt Shack in 32, Ryan Avila in 33, Ken Poulin in 34, Jason Estevez in 35, and Dave Palmer in 36. P31 through 34 have not joined the track, and I think we're going to see just some of these drivers just not appear, but are registered in the race. But that's where we're at. We're about to start this race. As we get to start in a pretty decent spot, not having to go around the whole track here. And George, oh, the safety car has started this ball moving. Got a lot of Corvettes and a lot of Fords out there. P7 through 10 is all Ford Mustangs. Jacob Simmons is in P3 with the Ford Mustang. Peter Flanner into P1 with the Corvette. Oh, Squirrel, I hope you can tell me how to pronounce Pax Oceany Alpha and Beta teams. I don't think I'm saying that right. Pax Oceany. As Peter Flander gets well away, and Jeff Koffold gets swallowed up here by the Bush's beans here. Jacob Simmons already down on the inside line with Trey Mistak. Might be able to take P3, as he doesn't just yet, but look at the lead from that driver. There seems to be a little bit of a blip there. I'm going to go over to Trey Mistak, who is in P4. No change there just yet. But just behind, we have Chad Peterson, who's down 2 positions at the start of this race. But is he going to be able to maintain? Oh, and look at that. That little slippage there. Tyler Anderson is on the outside line. Car number 15. And he gets through. I think he's going to hold on to it, too. And that's 3 positions down for Chad Peterson at the start of this race. But it looks like he's going to continue pushing. Further up ahead is Austin McGill, who's leading right now. These 2 liveries of Austin McGill is with Jeff Koffold, who are in the Blue Flags Matter team. But Tyler Anderson has the same livery with them as well, which is kind of confusing. Further back, Dasani, Pax Oceany, like Dasani water, Paxani. Maybe that's it. No change from the drivers here just yet. But we'll see something happen shortly. Maybe Trey Mistak is able to make something happen on Jeff Koffold, just not at the moment. Pax Oceany. Okay, so I think I'm saying it. Ocean E. Pax Oceany. I think I'm getting a live correction of what my pronunciation is here. Trey Mistak, you can shorthand by calling it Pax. I'll just call him Pax Alpha, Pax Beta. That sounds way better. And Noah Hoskinson right behind Mark Foley, only about a couple tenths here, is Chris Lambeth looking strong there. He's up 2 positions at the start of this race. Yeah, thank you for joining me. And Alan Paris goes ahead of Chris Chitterling, who's out wide. Look at him. He's losing several positions here. He's down 5 positions. And look at that. John Javecki goes through. Charles Whedon goes through. And who is this? I think it's John Javecki in that white Chevy. And he is through. Eric Rodriguez now looking to make something happen here. And Chris Chitterling, can he have damage or something? It looks like something's gone wrong there. And yeah, look at him. He's going into the pit lane. And several positions are going to be lost there. That is unfortunate. Looking at Christopher Daniel, the lead of the Pax team, Pax Alpha team. In P8, up 1 position at the start of this race. Chad Peterson is just behind him, down 4. Tyler Anderson has not made a move on Austin McGill just yet. They are not teammates, though. It's in the same livery, though. That one is perplexing. I don't have Tyler Anderson on a team in my books here. Got an Andrew Cody fighting for P25 here with Bryce Bombeck just ahead of him. And this is one of the Trident drivers, but not the Trident that's in the race. Eric Koonsman and Dylan Maroney on the Trident Ren Garup racing team. Either one of those drivers is out there that I'm looking at here. Go back over to Chris Lambeth, who is doing fairly well. Chris Lambeth is up 2 positions. Noah Hodgkinson is got to have to sweat a little bit. He's got Chris Lambeth, who's been getting ever so close into these braking zones. But so is Alex Othen, who's in the PAX beta team in P14. And there was a little bit of a switch back there, but Tyler Anderson was trying to make a move on Austin McGill, and it didn't work out just yet. Christopher Daniel looks to be really quick. See the difference here of the Chevrolet and the Mustang. Who's going to come out on top right now? A Chevrolet is in P1. The Mustang is in P2. And over to Chris Lambeth, who's still 2/10 away from Noah Hodgkinson. I wasn't really sure where the strengths of the Corvette or the Mustang are going to play into this track, as Noah Hodgkins goes a little bit wider on that line. Don't think it really compromised him onto the start straight finish. And he's not really pulling towards him either, or Chris Lambeth isn't, into that braking zone, so not quite sure where the strengths are just yet, looking at these drivers. This Trey Mistak is now just a 1/10 difference here on Jeff Koffold. He's going for P3. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Through the bus up he goes. There's Trey Mistak up 1 position. Jeff Koffold down 2 positions off the start of this race. And now he's got Elliott Burton in P5, who's up 1, and is close. The last lap for Jeff was 145.056. Elliott Burton with a 145.120, so not faster last lap, but anything could change. Okay, we're just going to go over here as Bryce Bombach fighting, and has a spin on the outside. And Jeff Lubbock, who was in E33, you've seen it happen. Hey, it happened to me as well. But there was a crash earlier in the session. Andrew Cody, just a spin on his own. Craig Carroll as well. Oh no, that's actually qualifying, folks. Trey Mistak had an incident. Oh no! Everybody having to avoid that. Who was that? That was. Oh, Peter Flanner was in P1. Oh, and you can see, yikes, avoiding action for the other drivers in the top 4 and top 5. Now everybody's going past him. That is Peter Flanner of Draft Punk Racing pulling it back, and now he's down severely. And I think most of the grid is passing him at this moment in time. That is unfortunate. And right after that happens, Jeff Lubbock just loses it. Oh, and who is that gets collected into him? Chris Chitterling. Yikes. And that is Chris Schitterling also had another issue at the start of the race because he went into the pits early on, and now I think his race is over. That is unfortunate. And Elliot Burton gets passed by Jacob, yeah, Jacob Simmons is ahead. Everyone's still racing. I'm not sure when this happened, folks, but in the first 10 minutes of this race, we were going to get a safety car per the way this was set up. They're still hard racing right now, so I'm not sure what's changed. The pack has really squeezed together. Trey Mistak down 2 positions when having to take that avoiding action. It really just inadvertently cost him some moves there, but he's still alive and he can still fight back here. Elliot Burton into P3, up 3 positions. Austin McGill up 4. This really benefited them and Tyler Anderson the most out of everyone on the grid. Noah Hoskinson's really just now on the rear of Andrew Korosecki. Sometimes you say things and you're like, why? Why do you say it that way? Alan Paris up 3 positions. Dylan Maroney ahead of him in the Trident Ren Grupp team there of Dylan Maroney. His teammate Eric Koonsman. And Alex Othen in the Pax Beta in P13 with Chris Lambeth just ahead of him. And Chris Lambeth was attacking Noah Hodgkinson through the last couple of laps, and now it looks like he is succumbed to a driver behind him. And now look at just the snake formation there, folks. That is an incredible amount of drivers that are so close together, so compact. From Noah Hodgkinson in P11, the last of this little snake, all the way up to, I would say, Elliot Burton, who is kind of just the de facto... Actually, no, Jacob Simmons is technically... Because there's a 0.7 gap, 0.7 tenths of a gap here from P1 to P7. But further back, they are really, really close. 4 tenths separating Jacob Simmons to Elliot Burton. And then Austin McGill, another 4 tenths. And then you have Tyler Anderson, who's now having to contend with Trey Mistak, who slots back in, but they are all really close together. I think we were just outside the safety car window with that time. It's 10 minutes on the board, not laps completed. So they didn't want to toss the safety car out by laps, but by time. And we must have had enough time on through the earlier laps for the safety car not to come out. Ooh, there's Noah Hutchinson in the background, and he's gone! Tumbling down the order. Just loses the rear there, folks. Oh, you hate to see it. As Craig Carroll's battling Eric Rodriguez for position into P18 or P17. And Dave Palmer also with an incident, replaying that back. And it looks like it just steps out right there and tried to save it. Not much you can do. Dave Palmer, who spins... Ooh! Now that's an interesting one, because that should have taken that other driver out, but it didn't. He's pulling it back on track. Steve McAllister... Ooh, is parking it. I'm not sure what happened there. But he backs up. And I think he blips his way back to something happening. Some incidents have occurred. Trey Mistak now has Chad Peterson and Chris Daniel having to contend with. He goes on the inside line, and they're going to go side by side almost, but he gets ahead of Tyler Anderson, and whoa! He's into the wall! And what a nudge that was! I don't even know what to say, folks. That is it for Trey Mistak. And holy. Further down, we have Austin McGill, who gets ahead of Elliott Burton through that corner. Through toe, I should say. And then Elliott Burton maybe trying to go back at him here. Doesn't make it happen just yet. But Christopher Daniels just ahead of Chad Peterson and Mark Foley. But Mark Foley's right alongside. He might try to make a move on the outside of Chad Peterson, who has lost some positions. 2 positions so far. But Christopher Daniel of Pax Alpha gets ahead of Chad Peterson. Really clean move there. And they continue. And no change out of this 2 that are driving of Chris Lambeth and Alex Othen. But what a heartbreaking move for Trey there. Haven't gone into the wall. It looked like he had the move planted and down. We'll take a look shortly at a replay as Tyler Anderson is going into the back straight. Just no time is separating Elliott Burton and Tyler Anderson through the bus stop. You don't want to see a repeat of what's happening. He stays ahead. He was defensive. You gotta be. And now he's got to maintain this here as Christopher Daniel looks to put some pressure onto Tyler Anderson. And didn't go for the inside line. It wasn't really on for that move just yet, but it might be. These drivers have been a little scrappy since the start of this race. All of these drivers right here in this little grouping, Tyler Anderson included in that, Elliott Burton as well. They're all up several positions from the start of this race. Chad Peterson, I don't like saying it, but he's the only one that's lost 2. But he's doing really well. He's fighting back. Ooh. Might as the commentators cursed him on that one because he has just spun around, having a little bit of an incident there. We'll see it again. He goes down, and they kind of just come together. I'm not even sure from that angle if they came together. That's a position loss there. And Elliott Burton is going into the pit lane. And so we're going to see a change in the order, folks. People are going for that move. Pit now, Eric Koonsman, who was in P23 at the time. Just didn't get the bus stop nailed, and into the wall he goes. Trey Mistak. See that? He's got it lined up, and then it's... I almost want to see that from a different angle. It's difficult to say how that he's already offline, or his car is already unstable there, right about there, and then it's just an extra bit of a nudge that really changed it up. He is in P30. And he's still out there on track, so he's not letting this get to him. So we have Jason Estevez in P23, looking at Elliott Burton, who is... Actually, he's P22 at the moment. What kind of livery is this? It's a person sitting on a toilet. You know what you gotta do. That's Richard Sedra, who passes him along the inside line, car number 199. I'm completely taken back from this. What kind of Jacob Simmons livery is this? I mean, it's an inspiration. Oh, and into the wall he goes. That's unfortunate for this driver. It's just catching people at the right moments in time. Alan Paris goes into the pit lane, serve as mandatory pit stop. John Javecki. And it's almost intimidating seeing this car. The Corvette in all white. Really just see the difference in mentality here. We have Charles Whedon ahead in P9 in that American livery Ford Mustang. Oh, and there's a driver off. I don't even know who that is. It's that Christopher Daniel. Oh. Oh. Oh, there's nothing you can do there. Who was that? No, it's not. Okay, maybe Mark. It's Tyler Anderson? Or... Jeff Koffold is still leading this race, up one position at the start of this race. He was down several positions, and we'll get to see what happened shortly. Christopher Daniel has gone in the pit lane, but going back at that, I see that this Valhalla Racing of Jeff Koffold, who is part of the Blue Flags Racing team, Jacob Simmons just behind. Jacob Simmons is in the Bush's Baked Beans with Lamb Dog Duke Memorial Race Team. It's a mouthful. Definitely not a mouthful of beans for me. The trauma of having to see this livery is enough to not have beans, especially Bush's Baked Beans. We're not sponsored by them, by the way. We'll get back to you on that one. Tyler Anderson is in P3. And Andrew Korstek is in P4. Dylan Maroney in P5. John Javecki in P6. Eric Rodriguez is in P7. It's got Craig Carroll in P8. And Chad Peterson in P9. Now, I don't actually see on my screens who that driver was that caused that incident. It's Craig Carroll and Eric Rodriguez going side by side through tow. Craig Carroll maybe doesn't have enough speed here to pass him, or does he? If he's a little brave on the brakes, he's got the inside line, but not going to have it for the next corner. He's definitely going to slot past. It looks like Chad Peterson might be able to get by here. He's going to attack him into this apex, and I think he has it down. And there goes Chad Peterson retaking a position, possibly, as they're still battling out there side by side, and Craig Carroll keeping his car ahead. And there he goes. But here's Chad. Can he respond into turn one? Ooh, Craig Carroll going a little bit wide there. And they're going to go side by side again. This is good news for Eric Rodriguez, who wants to get away from these two and put some distance. And Craig Carroll's going to slot in behind Chad Peterson, who retakes P7. And for good measure, into turn, or up the S's, Elliot Burton goes, and he's in P11. He's the first driver to go into the pit, or not the first. Actually, he is the first. Elliot Burton is the first driver to go into the pit lane. Service mandatory pit stop. Chris Lambeth is behind him, followed by Alex Authen of PAX Beta Team. PAX Oceany Beta Team. I'll get it right one of these days. I just got to get more confidence with that one. Christopher Daniel is in P17, having gone into the pit lane. John Javecki's behind him, and it looks like him and Charles Whedon are going to go and fight it out here. And this is staying on staying action as Charles Whedon spins Easy pass for Christopher Daniel there. He's probably telling himself, we take those. Because sometimes you do. Driver error is all that is necessary. Dylan Maroney has gone in the pit lane, so he's going to be making that move. It really comes down to Elliott Burton now, who was sitting in the top 3. Where is he going to make some positions here? Kyle Howe is still has gone into the pit lane. So is Andrew Cody. Or Andrew Cody has opted to stay out. We're going to see Elliott Burton make some moves. He's already up to P9. And he could take a couple more. Not just yet. Ooh, we have Craig Carroll. Oh my, I just hit that at the wrong time. All right, Charles Whedon. That was a spin that happened there. We'll pass that on. This is Chad Peterson, who is sitting in P6. Ooh, no bueno through the bus stop. And oh, there's Craig Carroll. Then just gives him the old electric boogaloo there. I don't even know what to say. There's not much you can do in response to this. And that is, I don't know if that's race ender yet, but that is the Caffeine Global Motorsports of Craig Carroll. Yeah. Can't do much there. On the outside of toe, Alex Othen still battling Chris Lambeth. The driver ahead of him got away. And that was Elliott Burton, and Chris Lambeth is now just having to contend with Alex Othen, who looks to have that inside line and makes the switch happen. But can Chris Lambeth respond? He's on the inside line for the next corner. It's going to look good for him. And he's ahead. And fairly had that planted down, I would say, before the corner even exited. What a move for him. Andrew Cody goes in the pit lane. Elliott Burton, that's Craig Carroll. Elliott Burton now going up to P5. Eric Rodriguez is still out on track. Andrew Korstecki is still on track. Andrew Korstecki and Eric Rodriguez are part of the team of Prosciutto Punch Racing. Kyle Anderson still out there on track in P2. Jacob Simmons in P1 at the moment. We had Jeff Koffold, who was in P1, was provisional pole for most of qualifying, overtaken by Peter Flanner for that position. Started P2, lost a couple positions, got back up to P1, went into the pits. It's now P4. He's got 4 drivers that need to... oh, wait. He's got Elliott Burton ahead of him. I didn't even see this, but Elliott Burton is going to inherit P1 from these from the pit stop that's gonna occur for the top 4. What a change that is. There's a 3.8 second gap from Jeff Koffold to Elliott Burton, who was sitting P1. Elliott Burton having a race that is like no other with his teammate out. This is a really good haul points wise for the team and for his drivers championship, the start of the season. But what a move. He's only up 1 position off the start, but he's going to be up 6 positions after they all, or 5 positions after they all pit. And I wasn't really good at math, folks. Eric Rodriguez right now up 18 positions. He's going to lose a lot of them, but still impressive nonetheless. He goes ahead, and there is Jacob Simmons, who was sitting P1, who's exiting the pit lane. And is this going to be the title for the position? It looks like he's already warmed up. Elliott Burton gets ahead of Jacob Simmons for P1, and this doesn't go Jacob Simmons' way. And what a brilliant move. Hitting early like he did. Now he's just got to maintain this. Oh my, he goes completely off, and he's got to have a slowdown penalty. And what's happening? There he goes ahead. We knew that was going to happen. There's definitely a slowdown penalty for that. I don't even know what to say. That's unfortunate after putting in so much hard work into those laps. It was 6 laps that he was pushing on that undercut, and it looked like it worked. But Jacob Simmons is going to retake P1. We'll see if this continues. Alex Authen still behind Chris Lambeth, and what a battle they've had, just separated by not 2/10 this entire race. One gets ahead, gets passed again, and it's just been that way this entire time. The Pax Oceany Alpha and Beta teams just putting on a clinic. The teammates right here at Pax Oceany Beta in P8 and P10 at the moment, or sorry, P7 and P9 at the moment, with Christopher Daniel and the Alpha team in P10. I'm not even sure where his teammate is. I'll have to take a look at that. John Javecki, who is sitting in P11. Man, couple of heavy hitters. This entire 2 teams are in the top 11. I'm going to add in the top 11 because, I mean, there's 3 of them in the top 10. One's just right outside of the top 10. It's such an impressive thing to do. And, yeah, you said it right, Squirrel. That Corvette is defending like his life depends on it, and it is truly the case. Alex Paris looking to get a little bit closer to Mark Foley. Only separated by 4/10 at the moment. And that's got to put a lot of confidence in these drivers from the Pax Oceany team, Alpha and Beta, because there's the Alpha team in the background. All 3 in a lineup here. We have Alan, Christopher Daniel, John Javecki. Their teammate is just 1 position ahead of him, and of Mark Foley is the one separating all 4 of these drivers. An impressive feat. Let's see what happens here. Elliot Burton is 8/10 back from Jacob Simmons. Still up 4 positions at the start of this race, which is a really good result. Same with Tyler Anderson, who's up 4 positions. Jeff Koffold, who's down 2. And Andrew Korostecki is up 5, into P5. Chris Lambeth is up 9 positions from the start of the race. So a good result for him if he continues to keep it this way. He's got Alex Authen, who has been pressuring him lap after lap, and there is not a difference here as his teammate Alan Paris tries to make a move but slots back in and doesn't go for it just yet. And not yet for this driver, but is it set up for him? This driver? Also not yet. But really pushing, though. He's going to take the outside line a little bit here and maybe try to push through on the inside and go for it. He's close enough. Chris Lambeth is gone defensive once again. I think Alex is a little bit more reserved with his moves here. Now Tyler Anderson is also separated by 1/10 from Elliot Burton. So we pop on board. We got the Rebel Alliance helmet going on for Tyler Anderson. It's interesting to see. Seeing if this gap of 1/10 changes at all through the back straight. I mean, through the S's into the back straight here. Is it going to be a difference? He's drafting off of Draft Punk Racing. A little bit of... Nope, doesn't go for it. Ooh, really brave on those curbs. And the move isn't on just yet. Andrew Korsecki on a Jeff Koffel. Looking good so far, but it's 2:10 separating a couple of these groups here. We have this battle here with Jeff Koffel, Andrew Korsecki, now Alex Othen and Chris Lambert. The same situation is happening. Christopher Daniels now reeled in his the Beta Pax Oceany team. And I wonder how this is going to play out, if they're talking about it at all. I'm faster, let me by. I don't know what the difference in speed is just yet on their laps by lap comparison. I'll get a new fresh result in a second. Don't think there's going to be team orders here because they're not on the same team. They're more of like in an organizational level. As Jacob Simmons has just set the fastest last lap, which just gets overtaken by someone else, and I'm sure that'll show up on the screen up ahead, but no change in the order just yet for these drivers. Now, what does this look like? The Ford Mustang pressuring the Porsche 911. It's going to go for the optimal line as Jeff Koffel is defending. Oh! Well, they have just come together. I don't even know what to say about that. That was something. Yeah, I think netcode. I'm going to go with you on that one. They were fully able to go side by side in that corner, but them coming together, I feel like that was more of like a netcode situation. But I'm sure they'll be able to look at that after the race and determine whether or not that was netcode. As we have Christopher Daniel, who's just 3/10 away from a co-team driver. And nothing yet, but Tyler Kern and Noah Hoskinson battling for P16. Noah Hoskinson's ahead, but is Tyler Kern going to respond? Can he respond at this moment? Tyler Kern also up 10 positions at the start of this race from P27 to 17. So a good positive result for him at this time if he keeps it together on track. Peter Flanner down 19. He's got Kyle Howe in his sights. Should be mentioned that Avalanche Racing team of Kyle Howe, and there he goes, just before the braking zone even occurred, he gets ahead of Kyle Howe. Kyle Howe and Tyler Kern are teammates, not separated by much. P20 and 17 for these two drivers. Just going back to the top of the lineup here, we have Jacob Simmons in P1 with a 1.7 second gap. So the gap has changed ever so slightly, but the one that was more concerning is Elliott Burton 8/10 away from Tyler Anderson here. It's a little bit of a breather. Tyler Anderson has a 4.3 second gap to Jeff. So maybe just, I think it was Jeff that didn't have a good pit stop. It's just such a difference in time there. He was leading the race at one point. And, you know, I don't think there's going to be any type of conversation happening between these two drivers if they are in the same voice chat lobby on Discord talking about this. There is a definite pace difference here. Alan Paris did a 145.241 on the last. Christopher Daniel did a 145.203. Technically faster by half a tenth. Oh, as we have a driver off there of David Palmer, I believe. Or Dave Palmer. Charged Dave Palmer. But Christopher Daniel, while he was technically quicker on the last lap, it's not really showing here at the moment in time, as Alan Paris isn't really defending, and that was a slip up there on the exit, and that might reel him in a little bit closer. And he's just got to find that time somewhere on track to reel him in and pass him. And I haven't seen it just yet. I think 2/10 is the closest they've been. As we only have a couple of laps left, folks, of this race, you got to be a little ambitious. Mark Foley not really having to worry too much about the drivers behind him, Alan Paris, who actually has to worry about the PAX Alpha team of Christopher Daniel. John Javecki's right behind him. These three PAX Alpha Beta are right there on track next to each other. Albeit that John Javecki's 3.9 seconds back. He's still pulling in some good laps, just not the laps that are comparable to Alan Paris and Christopher Daniel at the moment. Everything's up for debate here, though. With a couple laps remaining. There it goes. He goes defensive. It's not going to just give it to him. Actually, he gets ahead. Not sure if that was really a give and take motion, though. Charles Whedon on Eric Rodriguez down the back straight. Is he going to make a move here? Ooh, Tyler Anderson side by side with Elliott Burton as he goes on the outside, overtakes him. I don't have anything on the board. No, that's just a straight up overtake for him. And is Elliott Burton going to be able to respond to that? So they got Jacob Simmons ahead. Jason Estevez is getting out of the way of Jacob Simmons. Is that lap traffic going to make things interesting for P2 and 3? So we go on board with P3 of Elliott Burton, Draft Punk Racing. Got a 1.5 second gap to that lap traffic and won't find the time on the back straight. Or maybe he's gonna let him by here. I don't think he is thinking about that. And not yet. And with drivers that are entering this this league, I'm not sure if they. It looks like he got out of the way. I know that there's a rule about blue flags and trying to make it as easy as possible for these drivers to get by. It looks like he did do that. And it would have to be something extremely ambitious. They are separated by 2/10. I still don't see any change in the order from these two. It's just too far of a gap to overcome with one lap to go. And Jacob Simmons is going to cross the line. Tyler Anderson crossing the line. I think they have one more to go. Got Andrew Korstecki. I think it's one more to go. Yeah, it's definitely one more to go. He's battling out for Jeff Hoffold in P4. It looks like he was close. Christopher Daniel also on Mark Foley. They're separated by not 1/10 difference here. Chris Lambeth overtaking Jeff Koffel for P5. Andrew Korsecki got ahead. I'm not even sure what happened there. What the? Christopher Daniel and Mark Foley going almost side by side through that. He slots back in. Jeff Koffel just lost 2 positions, and he must have had a slowdown penalty because he was in front of Andrew Korsecki, but he gets ahead of Andrew Korsecki. Andrew Korsecki gets ahead, and then Chris Lambert had a shot at him, a shot that I didn't even see on the board. So it must have been like some type of slowdown for that to be the case. And look at that. Alex Othen might try to play the team game here a little bit and park it on Mark Foley, give him a spot. We'll take a look at this in a second as Jacob Simmons is rounding the final corner, and he is going to take P1, folks. An impressive win for him, up 2 positions at the start of this race. Tyler Anderson didn't have to contend with Elliott Burton at the end of this, so he takes P2. Elliott Burton in P3. Mark Foley is ahead of both drivers. Oh no. That's it. And I don't even know what to say there. Taking a look. So that ran out of fuel. Oh, that's it. Ran out of fuel. So Noah Hodgkinson crosses the line in P16. Tyler Kern, he's crossing the line in P17. Peter Flanner in P18. Good recovery drive for him. Andrew Cody in 19. Kyle Howe in 20. Richard Severa in 21. Bryce Bombeck going to be in 22 with Thomas Baker in 23. Eric Koonsman still out there on track, and he's going to take P24 with no one really around him. Same with Trey Mistack, and I'll get it on the board so everyone can see the results. It was Jacob Simmons in P1, Tyler Anderson in P2, Elliott Burton in P3, Andrew Korsecki in P4, Chris Lambeth in P5, Jeff Koffel in 6. Mark Foley got ahead due to that fuel issue. Both those drivers, but you know what? That's a 4-place finish for the PAX Oceany Alpha and Beta team, which is Christopher Daniel in P8 of the Alpha, Alex Othen in the Beta team in P9, Alan Paris in P10 in the Beta, and the Alpha of John Javecki in P11, Dylan Maroney in 12, and Eric Rodriguez in 13, Charles Whedon in 14, Craig Curl in 15, followed by, Noah Hoskinson, Tyler Kern, Peter Flanner, Andrew Cody, as I said, Kyle Howe in 20, Richard Severa in 21, Bryce Bombeck in 22, Thomas Baker in 23, Eric Koonsman 24, Trey Mistack in 25, Steve McAllister in 26, Jason Estevez in 27, Chris Chitterling in 29. Finished dually with Dave Palmer, who finished in 29th position together, apparently, with Dave Palmer, Jeff Lubbock in P30, Chad Anderson in 31. Unfortunate for that driver. Same with Austin McGill, both down 26 and 24 positions. Austin McGill in P32, and no other driver in the lineup actually raced. That was Patrick Gannon, Matt Shack, Ryan Avila, and Ken Poulin. But that is it, folks. Great job for the PAX guys, all finishing in succession with each other. Just a little alpha sandwich for the betas to be in the middle of on the lineup there. But what a great start of the season 9 of the GT3 Sprint Championship. Next, I believe we're going to go to Phillip Island next Sunday. So come hang out again. See us. We have a really exciting couple of races going on for sure. Thanks again for joining me, Squirrel, and anyone else that was watching this. Everyone have a good night.